Hey, everybody. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new here. Thank you for joining me today. Happy Wednesday. Halfway there. Going to use the wisdom of the Oracle again today. And we have co create. And we've talked about this before on the channel, the co creation, and just how when we dedicate ourselves to a goal, ironically, what we just talked about last week, when we determine our why and have that steadfast drive to accomplish something, things start to align for us. And the more, one of the things we talked about, like daily habits, small daily habits and small daily actions to get to your goals. Another reason why this is so important to take daily action on something, when you have it in the forefront of your mind, that you're working on this project and you're taking action on it every day, it's right here. And there is the system in your brain that I always forget about when I try and talk about it. I don't know why. But when we have in our mind something that we are trying to accomplish, something that we are trying to find, something that we're trying to achieve, it sticks out to us because our brain will filter out what's not important to us. So if you never eat donuts, it's not a thing for you, you're not going to notice the donut shop. Your brain has deemed that unimportant. So it just, you don't notice it. If you're focused on building a business and you're looking for locations where you might want to start your business, that's going to be right up front. And so as you're driving somewhere, and it could be that there was a road closed that you'd normally take, and so you had to detour to go around the closure, and you find the perfect location. Why? It's right here because you're taking steps on it every day. And how does that relate to co-create? Because when we co-create, it's with the universe, higher power. We put our intention out there. When we set intentions, it's not just with ourselves. We're putting that energy out there into the cosmos. And when we are dedicated and make that commitment, things just work behind the scenes in our favor. And it's that daily action that shows that we mean business. Like we're truly making this commitment. It's important to us, it's a priority, and we're going to stick with it. Reticular activating system. See, it didn't take me until tomorrow to remember this time. The reticular activating system is the part of the brain that filters what matters and what doesn't matter. So if you are focused on a goal, that matters to you. It's right here. And it's going to filter out the other bullshit that you don't need to pay attention to. So that's why it's not just about the daily action. It's not just about the daily habits. It's about keeping it active in your reality, in your day to day, so that these opportunities are popping up for you. It's in your energy. It's in your aura. You're attracting these things to you. And by setting that intention and staying consistent with it, it's not just what's happening in the material realm, because that's what we actually can manipulate and control and have focus on. However, by doing that energetically, we put that out and it starts drawing things to us. So when we set the intention, we talked about reverse engineering, and if one of your steps is education, like I used my experience about being a manager and getting trained as a food service manager so that I could learn how to run a coffee shop, which I didn't do because food service sucks. My apologies to anyone who's in it. My hat is off to you because that is not for me. But when I had that idea and I was researching coffee shops and I was looking at business plans for coffee shops, that's when it came to me, you know what? I bet I could get a job as a manager in a food service industry, some restaurant, and figure out how this all works, which again, the traditional path would have been to go to school for it. and pay for training and take time out of an already busy schedule. Well, I didn't have that kind of time because my son was in football. I I actually was taking college courses at the time unrelated to business. I was studying psychology. And so I thought, how can I make this happen? I don't have more hours in my day. My management job that I had at the time was eating up the majority of my day, and I was squeezing in homework and taking him to football practice. There were times he'd be at football practice and I'd be in the stands doing payroll. you know, you make it work. But I thought, okay, if I actually took that job, then I'm getting my training and I'm not losing any more time. I'm not having to try and create more time out of my schedule. That's now my income as well as my training. So these thoughts will come to you. You'll see an ad, you'll see something else. It's because it's here and you're bringing those opportunities to you through your energetic commitment to your goal. So when we talk about co-creating, it's so much more than just what you're physically doing. And that's why when we kind of like New Year's resolutions, you know, yeah, you're all eager about it on December 28th. I'm going to start that new workout routine. I'm going to change my diet. And you go and you get the gym membership and you never go. And you buy the healthy cookbook and you never crack it open. You sell it used, like new. None of these pages have ever seen the light of day because you didn't have that depth of commitment. Now, if you had sat down and worked out a schedule, like in advance, because when you really want to commit to something, you have to invest in it, right? And just saying, I'm going to do this, our words are powerful. However, if it stops there, there's no momentum. There's no, and that's why incentivizing yourself is important too, because if you have some ridiculous thing that you want, right? Like it's not a justifiable need, it's just a frivolous want. And you make it like the carrot on a stick for a donkey that when I reach this goal, I'll buy myself that thing. You've incentivized yourself. So if I've gone to the gym for a month on my schedule that I laid out, at the end of that month, I will reward myself with whatever that reward would be for you. And we are we're very much there's a thing called the cost sum fallacy, where the more we invest in something, the more we believe it has value. And we start to attach, which is funny, we just talked about yesterday, what has value. What has value is what you invest in. And I can tell you what's important to you by looking at your bank account. But um, if we invest ourselves in something, we are now energetically connected to it and we perceive it as having higher value for what we've invested. Sometimes that'll keep us in bad places, but sometimes that can move us to good places. It's how we use that energy. So if I invest myself in an idea and I spend time researching it, if I invest in, like, I go to the local gyms and I check them out and I look at the crowd and I look at what time of day I'd be going and are they busy that time of day and this kind of thing, really feel it out. Take the time, invest the time in checking out locations. And then I sit down and I invest the time in writing out a schedule of when I'm going to go to the gym. And then I go out and I invest in some workout clothing that inspires me. Like mine all has profanity on it, but I like it. So you do you, boo. That's what motivates me. And even take the time to figure out what you will do. What activities will you do? What can you commit to? Because it doesn't have to be getting a gym membership. Join the boxing club, you know, roller derby, dancing, but invest in it. Do some research, spend some time on it, because once we've invested, it holds value for us. And there again, like I said with the co creating, when you are invested in something and you are committed to it, that shows that you value this. You are going to stick with it, and it starts bringing things to you. So, just to touch on co creation, I talked yesterday about some of the, like physics and laws of the universe, and we have been so shortchanged as far as our energetic self and how we can work with the energies of our cosmos and the things around us to really completely change our experience of reality and make our life so much easier just by understanding these simple concepts. So, again, when you invest and you commit, and that is in the forefront of your brain, and your reticular activating system is pushing out the other garbage that isn't important anymore, you create that magnetic pull to bring those things to you. And that is co creation. Not necessarily the same as manifestation, very similar, but use that to your advantage. Use the energy, that momentum that you pick up as you take those daily steps and you create those daily habits and you commit to yourself. When you aren't letting yourself down, you're energetically supported, and more things are going to come on your path to help you along the way to make it easier. Instead of a rocky, uneven path, it's going to smooth out. It's going to be more like flowing on a river, except that as you're flowing along, more and more things are coming to you. And people call it coincidence, they call it luck. That is energetically being in alignment with where you want to be and putting in the effort to become the person who can be those things, who can handle those responsibilities. And it's all about that drive and commitment and not letting yourself down. So I know I get all over the place on this stuff, but at any rate, stay focused on what you want. Don't waste your time focusing on what you don't want, because then you bring that in. We don't want to bring in what we don't want. We want to bring in what we want. So that's one of the reasons why, by focusing our energy, we can make progress so much more quickly in something. It's when we scatter our energy and we're not sure what we're doing, and we try a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and we're investing a little bit over here and a little bit over there, but you don't have enough focused momentum on one thing to get that co-creation, because nobody can tell what you're committed to or what direction you're going to take. What do you give somebody like that? You know, if you're going to the North Pole, I'll get you this, but if you're going to the Bahamas, that's not appropriate. And I really don't know how to help you right now. I mean, that's kind of, you know what I mean? Pick something, and you may decide that it's not the right thing. But pick something and focus. If nothing else, you'll see this start to work for you. And that alone will give you the courage to change direction and go somewhere else, knowing that you've got invisible support helping you move forward. So, happy co-creating. I hope this helps, and I will talk to you soon.